I don't want to just buy any and everything. That's me. I'm more selective. I know some people would buy any and everything. I'm more selective. I want to kind of just have what I want.
Yo, these niggas bugging.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm tempted. Like Golden Kamuy, I was like,
Me too.
okay.
Me, yo.
All right.
I'm telling you, I almost.
Yeah.
Almost. It was too good of a price.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like 7 something. You know what I mean? It was like all the chips were there for me to make the mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, I want to hold. It's just not happening. But I feel like you might just be not the right customer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
For that.
True.
Right? You're not going to get 20th Century Boys.
True.
You're not going to get all this other stuff. So maybe you're just not the person for it.
Yeah.
Right? So I say that to say one of the mega deals had the movie Genocidal Oregon.
Yeah.
And
It's a horrible name.
it's a fire ass name. It caught my attention.
It's an interesting name, but like marketing stuff, like nobody wants to put that on their front page. You're like, yo, check this out. That's a
Genocidal Oregon. Yeah, I can see that.
Kind of like a bad name.
Well, it's from a novel.
Yes.
So the book is a novel, and I don't know what else you would name it other than that. So I feel like you're kind of pigeon-toed to the name.
You could always go with something else.
Not at all. Like I want to know what time. Like, have you ever seen? I mean, I don't read that many novels, so I might just be asking the wrong question.
Okay.
But if I'm adapting something, imagine you're adapting a manga and then calling it something entirely different. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna name it what time it is.
Yeah.
Having said that, give me the breakdown, sir.
So Genocidal Oregon. It dropped 2017. So it's by Project Itoh. So this is a person, but I guess he just renamed his identity Project Itoh.
Yeah, his name's Satoshi Itoh.
Yeah, so he's apparently boys with Hideo Kojima.
Yep. Well, he passed away. So
yeah, he was boys.
Yeah.
But they had a really strange relationship where like they really understood each other and like what they make and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, yo, like I won't do this until like I won't. He had cancer.
Yeah.
He ended up getting cancer, I think like 2000 or something. And he's like, yo, like I'm not gonna die until like you put out your next game. And like they were always like just bounce.
That's so fire. In a weird way. That's so fire. Like I'm not leaving until you do what you do. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah, they would always like bounce it off each other, and like he'll be in the hospital, and Kojima will pull up to him, and they'll just tell him everything. And like in media and game stuff, you can't speak about the stuff at all. But he's like, I'm telling him the whole story, and like, and apparently, what I think the 5th game after that, Kojima was gonna pass it on to him.
Yeah,
like, you can run it now because he's like the only one that actually gets it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like you said, it was a book. I'm trying to find the studio. Do you know the studio by chance?
Geno Studio. Well, it was a studio that was making it. Then they stopped because I think it went under, and then there was another one that took it over. Yeah, and it was distributed by Toho, which I didn't know this. I clicked on Toho, and they're a pretty historic distribution and production company. They're basically the ones that made all the Akira Kurosawa movies. Do you know what that is?
Yeah,
and all the kaiju movies.
Okay,
and like a bunch of other and like they're like a pretty big staple. So.
Got it.
You know, that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
And so they distributed it. But
okay. Yeah. And it was the director is Shuko Murase. I think I said his name right. He's kind of a big deal too. He did a lot of Gundam stuff. He did Ergo Proxy, which is one that I need to check out.
Yep. That's how I heard slightly of this.
Okay.
Because there was like a connection with how it's sort of made.
Got it. And he did also Gangsta.
Oh, really? Like the
Yep.
recent shit?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah, he's like a big deal. He did Dante's Inferno. Okay, then.
Really, the anime for that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And then I think the next movie we should watch is Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway.
Fuck. I had his other 2 movies. He has Project Itoh.
Yeah.
Satoshi Itoh.
Harmony or something.
Harmony and Emergency something. Hold
like
up.
Corpse something.
Empire of Corpses.
Yeah.
I had both of them shits lined up because and listen, I was gonna come in and tell you.
No.
I was gonna come in and tell you. I'll go watch them without you, nigga. I was ready to pull the plug. I seen Genocidal Oregon, and I knew I was like, Victor's gonna hate this movie because this is what I like.
Yeah.
This is almost not even anime.
This is
This is not. I didn't think it was. It's anime, but it didn't feel like anime.
Okay. Why is that? Because why is that? Go ahead.
It didn't. Did you think it felt like that? I don't know. It had a lot of elements.
It tickled something else in my brain that I like.
Yes.
It felt good.
Yes.
I like this movie a lot.
This is I think that this is a legendary movie.
After watching it, I was on Amazon trying to purchase it.
And I was furious that I didn't fucking pull the trigger on Right Stuff when it was there for $20.
Oh, really?
Nigga, $21.25. I'll never forget that stupid fucking price because I missed the fucking shit. Jesus, I was so heated.
Yeah.
This to me is a legendary movie.
This is fire. Where do we start?
Okay, let's just start with the simple stuff.
Okay.
Art and animation.
Clean.
Phenomenal.
Like, it started off with some dude checking his phone, like, what language do you want to pick? And
yeah.
Like, just looking at that, I was like, wait, this is kind of clean.
Yeah.
And then this whole time, I'm just like, bro, like, this is beautiful.
The mixture with the CG.
Yeah.
Because they have CG in there.
Yeah.
You see it, but it's so well implemented. It's so gorgeous.
Yes.
It's just beautiful, smooth. There's no jagged.
Yeah.
That like it seems like a lot of money went into making the production of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Goes without saying.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing is for the music, although I don't really remember it. I just remember being so engrossed.
There was some I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like this hit.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
It was nuts. The production of the movie is bar none and like really fucking incredible. And I think this might be a sleeper movie. I've never heard of anyone talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The name caught my attention. You're welcome, son. You're welcome, son.
World building, like design and everything. Like it's like a set in like a futuristic, like
it's like a near future.
Yeah.
Like present near future.
Yeah, like an alternate reality type thing. I don't know, but
it's like built in what would be present time, but you know, there are a lot of elements of futuristic things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how I would describe it.
I would say so. They use very like organic things on mechanical creations.
Yeah.
Which is like a weird element that I don't see too often, but it worked really well. I remember the plane was like flying, then had like some like beetle wing apparatus just open up, and like the seat belts are very like organic, like I don't like tissue.
It's like perishable material.
Yeah. So they often they do a self-destruct and then just like decomposes. It doesn't like, explode or anything. It's like that's interesting. Like you see the exoskeleton still kind of remaining and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's pretty fire.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say I was mind blown by this movie.
Yeah.
I was even trying to find like conversations about it online, and I couldn't really find any.
Really?
I could only just find a bunch of trailers.
Okay.
And so I don't know if that was like I wonder how well this movie did, because I feel like there's a lack of conversation around it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if that was just a result of them spending so much money in the movie that they couldn't find a way to market it anywhere else.
Got it.
Or if there was just too much sauce in the movie.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. We've been having this whole conversation about, manga exploding, anime exploding, right? As of recent. Mm-hmm. And whether it's accidental or not, I wonder, let me see. Like, I just finished reading Sanctuary and Strain by, illustrated by Ryuichi Ikigami, right? And those are, I told you about Sanctuary. Yeah. I just finished Strain recently.
Okay.
And there's like a motif. There's like a thing that is pretty recurring around all these series. And it's basically about how the West has a chokehold around a lot of different parts, especially in Asia and the world in general. Mm-hmm. And those two particular series are about finding a way to make Asia and Japan come back on top. Okay. Right? Okay. And it was very interesting. That was something that was very explicit, at the very least, in those two series. I don't know about the rest, because I'm about to read the Psychic Girl and all this other shit. But in those two, that was very much a thing. Okay. They wanted to be the superior power, getting control of the oil, getting control of this other stuff, right? Yeah. And that was very, pretty important. Now, I get the feeling that there's that feeling is a thing over there. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's the case. I'm just spitballing from the art. Yeah. If you have, like, how similar how when we saw Pat Labor 2, there was clearly it was like an allegory. It was making a political statement about a particular time, trying to convey a point about something specific. And I wonder if the art coming from over there is kind of making a point similar to that. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because really what controls most of the world is culture. Mm-hmm. Who brings out the culture? Fucking the U.S. Yeah. And if there's an outlet to bring culture from somewhere else and make a large impact, coming from manga, coming from Japan, then you start having like a chokehold in what's coming over here and what we think about, right? Like the stuff that we talk about and think about comes from the things that we consume.
Yeah.
And if those things that we're consuming come from somewhere else aside from this place that we're in at the moment, that's a different culture inseminated itself over here.
Yeah.
And I wonder, right, if that's what Sanctuary and Strain were trying to go for, right? Kind of empathize with like, yo, there's somebody over there that, you know, is trying to have some sort of hold of power. And I wonder if this movie was kind of that. Because when I started looking at this movie, right, there was a lot of elements, a lot of imperialism with the U.S. and doing a lot of fuck shit in the movie, right, which were like phenomenal. There was a lot of a touch on like AI, touch on like privacy, which is, you know, is my shit. Imperialism and things like that. And I don't know if you saw this. Did you watch it dub or subbed?
Dub.
Me too.
Okay.
Amazing sub. I mean, amazing dub.
Yeah.
The movie that came out over here had a different ending than the one that came out over there.
Really?
Son. If that's not indicative of that, I don't know what is. Let me go get my cat.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I should have. Okay.
Dude, the ending of the movie.
Yeah.
When, you know, the main character, and we're gonna go back into you know what the movie's about or whatever. But on this particular point, when he's at the very end of the movie and he talks to Congress about everything that's going on and everyone finds out about it, that's the dub ending.
Okay.
The sub ending was entirely differently.
What?
It was not. It wasn't positioned as if though the U.S. helped everyone else. Okay. It was like fuck you, and then everybody starts to get fucked.
Ooh.
The U.S. isn't the positive and the winner and the help all be all
because they can't
at the very end of the movie.
Over here.
No.
Okay.
And dude, listen to this. Listen to this. There's a book called The CIA and whatever in Hollywood. Apparently, a lot of the movies that we watch now, including like Iron Man, shit like that, where are really, really popular, had a lot of input by people behind the scenes.
Okay.
Like government and things like that, right? Yeah. Kind of inclining to, and these are the things that we don't really know. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, and what's interesting is how important is that? Like that's super important. The things that we're watching, and I feel like this kind of touches on it. The things that we're watching, we don't actually know if it's cap or not. When he was getting treated, right, for the psychology help, and he was talking to a psychologist, and the psychologist was doing some fuck shit with the finger. Yeah. He's like, yo, is this true or not? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's a lot of this. Akira just got banned in Russia. Akira just got banned in Russia because they didn't want the fucking violence of it or some shit like that. Yeah. Fam, this movie is crazy.
Dude, it's crazy.
This movie had me crazy.
This movie, I was watching it and I'm like thinking the whole time, like, yo, this dude Vic,
I was
crazy right now.
On the edge of my seat.
I bet you were, and so was I. I was like, yo, this is really good. I love like philosophy. I love like asking why.
Yes.
That scene you just mentioned with the therapist or whatever, and then the dude was talking to him. He had his own inner monologue. He's like, yo, like, what you're saying to me, how that affect me? Like, is it actually like breaking it down deeper? Is it changing?
Are you just fucking with me?
Yeah, like, and then at the end of it, he's like, so are you ready to go kill some children?
Yes.
I was like, what?
Son.
I was like, bro, this is different.
And what's interesting, that came back later on towards the very end of the movie. Mm-hmm. The antagonist of the movie is John Paul. Yeah. This guy. All right, hold on. Let's just. All right, I'm too all over the place. I'm too excited for this movie. All right, what the fuck is all this shit that I'm talking about that's making absolutely no fucking sense? Yeah. What is all this about? Yeah. All right, movie takes place all over the world.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just designated into one location, but mostly it follows these characters from the U.S. government in the military that. They just do a lot of covert ops.
Yeah, like special ops, assassination type stuff.
And from the jump, you're thrown into the situation where these guys are trying to take down this dictator, apparently, that has been committing a lot of mass genocide.
Yeah.
Right? And everything is crazy. And these guys, because it's in the near future, have this suit that is able to allow them to do a lot of like crazy shit. They they implemented a chip in their head where they just don't feel pain. And some of the trauma that comes,
so everything just shuts it all down.
Yeah,
they're just soldiers.
Exactly. You're a robot basically. Yep. You're a human robot. They have all these contacts that are able to basically make them see like Iron Man shit. Amazing. Because you go, sometimes they take the camera to the first POV, and then you start seeing what they see, right? And it's just like this lens, fucking seeing everything, calculating shit, and this, that, and the third. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers what they're able to do in the technology in the movie. Cut to finishing this first mission, we go back to the U.S. and we start getting to know like what's going on and this, that, and the third. And there's this guy named John Paul, right? And apparently he has, every time he goes to a particular place, a couple years later, the whole country's in shambles and amidst the whole genocide. So it seems like this guy is causing all these genocides all around the world, and we got to stop him.
Yeah.
And at this table, you have a lot of the CIA, you have DARPA. Like, they use a lot of terminology that's, like, legit.
Yeah.
That is legitimate. I feel like this had to be a stressful movie to make.
Probably.
Just because of all the, and maybe I'm bugging, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like they were trying to be as accurate as they can, right? They brought up the whole 2015. There's a lot of conspiracy in the movie for sure, I think, if you're not aware. But they brought up the whole privacy thing from 2015 where the NSA was bugging everyone and shit like that. I mean, there's just a lot of information crammed in here, and I think they do a really phenomenal job at trying to explain it as best they can, as simple as they can, so that you could just follow along with the story.
I think it would help for me personally because you're into this stuff, so it kind of hit.
It's bad.
It's bad. Me, like, I definitely have interest in it, but I'm not as deep as you, so I want to rewatch it to get like more, to understand what's actually happening more. Because me, I'm not super into war and politics and all that stuff, and this touches on all that stuff, so like it made it digestible for sure, but I just don't understand a lot of it, so I have to go back and like check out what's being said, what's being done, stuff like that.
There is no way getting around the politics from this movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why I kept saying, like, there's clearly, this movie is like an allegory to me.
Yeah.
It has a political message that it was trying to do, and I just find it interesting that the ending was changed for the West.
That's crazy.
Don't you think that's nuts?
That's crazy.
I don't care what the reason is. You changed it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just enough for me.
Yeah.
Which is case in point to what they were saying, they were saying in the movie. It goes kind of hand in hand. And it's like what we do in China. They always change it around because, culture and shit like that, whatever the case is, this and the third. So this John Paul guy ends up the reason. Well, hold on. Before we even get to the reason, what else is there?
What else is there? I don't know. Could we just talk about? I'm gonna just mention random shit.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of shit that happened in this movie.
Yes.
Fucking the main character, I forget his name. He was running, and then he, like you said, they have like the HoloLens type shit where you can see augmented reality, everything like that. He had his like his previous run next to him.
Yeah.
He was like competing with himself,
like an augmented reality version of him.
And he, like, you could see him like losing. It's like some days I was just thinking some days it'd be like that. Some days you don't have it to push. But like
past the limit,
what you did last time, whatever. And it's like that's just fire. Like this technology, I think a lot of it we envision coming, but like I never really seen it all like work together because I don't spend a lot of time in sci-fi, so it's like I might need to because this shit hit different.
And that was also part of the movie too,
yeah.
Right? Like all these conveniences that we have, all this stuff, which is typically at the expense of someone else, right? It's just so convenient that when you have it, you can't get around it, right?
Yeah.
And it was at the, especially towards the very end, you start seeing like, yo, we have all this shit, but there's also all this stuff that we're ignoring.
Yeah.
Because we have all these conveniences like AR that I can run myself against with type shit.
Yeah.
We can start seeing the football games.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, look super clean on the TV.
It did.
Yeah, they look super clean.
And the animation, even like the ref was just doing like little walk back and like I was like, come on.
They bodied I'm telling you, visually, this movie is insane.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah. And so there's this guy named John Paul that figured out, because he's a super smart guy, super smart guy, figured out that there are like, let me see if I can explain this correctly.
Yeah, go ahead, because I need your help.
There's like grammar, there's like specific grammar and language that can be used to target this animalistic instinct in your brain to basically, in short, cause genocides a couple years later. And he just was able to find the pattern that led to it, which is why he was able to decipher that code.
Yeah.
Now, the thing was that he was causing all these genocides in third world countries. Yeah. Right? In countries that just weren't as developed, right? And the reason why was because those languages didn't necessarily they weren't intersected with other languages that were very like popular, right? Yeah. Like he wouldn't touch English because that would just cause havoc all across the globe. Yeah. But like if there's some other, like say Latin, Latin probably like connects with other shit, but like some other language, right? If you go to different countries, they got like 1,000 languages, and if you're trying to fuck with this one tribe that got this one language, you just start messing with that one language that is able to trigger all the stuff that he was able to figure out that caused all this damage and havoc in these different countries.
Yeah.
And I thought that shit was nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but
I was thinking about, because we always speak about how we can present ourselves better, how we can speak better, how we can like get our point across, and this man is just like the king of doing that, pretty much. And it just shows how language is really important to how we perceive the world, how it
it's everything.
Yeah, like legit everything. Like our thoughts, our actions, our moral compass is all perceived by language, and it's like him just speaking to us. Like one thing could be said to you. And I think when early in the movie, when the main character had one of the head figures, like he caught him, he had like the knife to his neck. He's like, stop talking, because just hearing words can just change your whole like life projection or whatever. And it's just crazy thinking about how like language really does have such an effect when you use it so carelessly, especially nowadays, because you're on Twitter, you're on whatever, you just say whatever you want to say. Everyone has a voice now. It's like maybe you shouldn't really be talking. I think that's why some politicians like Barack Obama, Ronald Reagan, like these people are known for their narrative ability, their storytelling ability. And it's like, I want to go back, like I've never been into politics, but I want to go back and like study like how they speak and like what
it's just
they
the art
say.
of it. Yeah. It's just the art, right? Like when you just see it, forget what the fuck they're saying,
exactly.
Right? It's just that they're saying something and it's clearly causing something else to happen as a result of it.
You feel something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, I got to go back and check it out now.
And that's what he was doing in all these different countries.
Yep.
And he's always painted as this super bad guy,
yeah.
Right? Super, super bad guy. And what's interesting is that towards the end of the movie, they start he starts explaining himself because we start catching up to him. And it's weird how close to Thanos his idea was.
Okay.
Not exactly, but it was kind of in that ballpark in a way. Yeah. Right? And it's super, yo, it's mad conspiracy here. But it wasn't, he's not just necessarily just a bad guy. Yeah. But he's a piece of shit. But he kind of has like a sense to himself, right? He has a philosophy. This movie is all philosophical. Yeah. He has a philosophy that he was able to dig his heels in, and it was as a result of war and all this other stuff that affected him personally. Yeah. That caused him to do all this other stuff later on in his life. Then we get to meet John Paul has a girlfriend. Yeah. Which is bad as fuck. No. But he has a girlfriend that
like a mistress.
Yeah. She had a side piece.
Yeah.
And which directly links to why he was doing all the stuff that he was doing, right? Which is kind of crazy because they showed it in the beginning of the movie. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was actually the main character that was like getting it on and shit. Yeah. But it was, but it wasn't.
That's like I run it back. I want to just catch it all.
Then, but so they try to find as much information as they can from her because John Paul is just like a loose cannon. We don't know where he is. We don't know what he does. Yeah. And the only connection that we have to finding John Paul, the guy that's causing all these genocides, allegedly, is this lady. So we're gonna send the main character and his boy over to her, and it's dope because in the dub she had like an accent. Yeah, because this takes place all around the world, and so I just found it really dope. And we're gonna find as much information as I can, and that opened a whole nother can of worms, because the country that he went to, what was it, Czechoslovakia, something? Yeah, it was some fucking bumfuck somewhere else that I have no idea how to say, and there they started talking about privacy, right, and how they, the idea of privacy and the philosophy around it, how they're using certain stuff to create more of a police state, right? And they didn't believe in that, so they would trade money in cash, which was like a big deal because everybody uses crypto.
He's like, is this illegal? He's
like, nah, yo, that's crazy. Yeah. What are you talking about? And then how they would try to get around it. They would try to get around it so much so that because there are cameras everywhere, because there's like sonar and all this shit, like they try to figure out a pattern to get away from that. And so they would grab other people's eyeballs and install them in their face. Yep. So that basically you'd be wearing a dead man's eye, dead man's eyes and shit. So you wouldn't recognize them.
Bio fingerprints.
Yes.
They have like everything.
They went above and beyond to look for as much privacy as possible. Yeah. Right. And it's like, which is a whole, I don't know. I don't know.
You was talking about the currency part, and like that part when they're speaking about the freedom is like, yo, like people need a place to come and not be like monitored, to be able to express themselves freely without being judged and everything like that.
And that's what they were at the club.
Yeah, and I was like just so much of it is like just true, and like it's like these things are usually you experience these things, but you don't understand why you feel these type of ways and things like this. I think this gave good insight on why this could be the reason why you're so attracted to certain environments or lifestyles or people or whatever the case may be. Like there's a lot of it. A lot of it's like explained to me. Like I feel like no one really have these conversations. So I was like, it's interesting to see it done in this manner. And I was like, this is fire.
I've never seen anime tackle something like this.
Yeah,
I've seen bits and pieces. Right, you have Ghost in the Shell with AI stuff. You have like other movies slightly touching on different things. But this is, I think this is even more political than Pat Labor. It's either that or it's so recent that I connect with it more than Pat Labor too.
I feel like for me, it's more worldwide. It's not just one idea.
It's not just Japan. It's not just.
Not
this
even
location.
That. Not even that. It's just not just like the idea of AI or the idea of whatever. It's so layered.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you even focus on one thing when like you got this going on, you got that going on, it's just so much going on that I feel like I'm able to always find something to be like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah. That's something to think about for real.
I think this movie's like 3 different acts, and each of the different acts tackles like 1 or 2 main subjects, and they can all be their own essay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think my last thing for it is like John Paul. Towards the end, he was talking to the main character, and he's like, I'm not the one killing these people. Like, I'm not doing it. It's not my fault. Like, I'm just talking, and like
he's just basically the trigger.
Yeah, but then also when the main character was talking to the therapist, he's like, you made the decision to go to the doctor, so you are the reason this is happening. You cured yourself if something's wrong because you was like, I need to go get myself checked out. So it's like John Paul kind of dismisses his role. He's like, it's not my fault. Whereas like the therapist is like, no, like you are the cause of it. You are the initiation for this. So it's just interesting to see someone that plays such a big role in the whole film not really be attached to it. He's like, it's not me.
He's like a Charles Manson. Like he didn't commit the crimes. He just convinced someone else to do it, and then he had like his hands are clean kind of.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Did you expect a shot that last person to die at the very end?
No, I thought they're gonna like go be on some freaking Snowden type shit, just go off and be friends, do something together,
right?
With her.
No, not. You talking about with John Paul?
Yeah.
Oh, no. So I thought the main character was making such a change, which is interesting that they weren't able to tell his chemical imbalance, like his emotional imbalance, right? Because towards the end of the movie, he clearly starts showing much more emotion than he's ever shown.
He's like, it's not real.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, Vic, relax.
Yo. I connected with homie. Yo, I'm telling you, this is my shit, bro. And I was just surprised at base because they have all these suits that are able to basically give them every single inch of your body and the size of your dick and fucking what your brain waves are like. And they're able to tell when you start getting angry, when you start showing signs of all this stuff, how for him, when he was going towards the very end, changing his feelings towards different things, how they didn't see that at home.
Well, even before, at the beginning, when he had the dude captured, he's like, this isn't his feelings, it's the other dude's feelings.
So what I'm saying, like they were able to tell.
Yeah.
Like they had equipment to tell back home, HQ, how these guys were doing, how these guys were feeling, how these guys were moving.
But even then, I guess they couldn't because, at least for him, because while, yes, the other dude was going crazy, he was kind of losing it too, but they couldn't pick it up. Like, he was like...
Oh, I didn't take it that way.
Yeah. Like
he was losing it. Oh, that's right. Yeah, and they couldn't tell him. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. So I didn't connect that.
Yeah. So I was like, I guess he's like just not attached. I don't know why they couldn't figure it out.
Huh. That's super interesting. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together for that one.
But yeah, you was talking about the shot when his girl, and he's like, no one had to die, and she just got blasted in the head.
I jumped.
Yeah, I was like,
because I was like sit Indian style in front of the TV with the fucking speakers right in my fucking face.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I totally didn't see that coming.
Yeah. And I don't know why, like, the fact that the only real, like, war battle shit that we saw was, like, against the children soldiers. It hit, I don't know why, it just hit so freaking hard. Like, you see these kids, and, like, they even said, like, that the kids are kind of like the soldiers, or like they have the mental blocks or whatever. Like they're not really them, and it's like I don't know. It was crazy. I'm not big into war shit. I'm not big into guns, but like that scene was so heavy. And that the one part, my favorite shot of this whole film, when they captured all like the world leaders or whatever, and they was on the plane. They got shot down. He went to go save his friends. He ran into like the little their ship that was shot down. And then his boy was like, I just missing my arm. It's okay. He pulls up. His boy's whole bottom half was gone. Off.
Yeah.
And then he's still shooting like nothing.
Yeah.
And then he dies. No, first the boy takes his leg. He's like, oh, I got the left, the right one ran away. And like they're joking about it.
Yeah.
And then he's just standing with his boy's leg in his hand and like a butterfly flying across the screen. Like the angle of the shot, I was like, this is beautiful.
You know, it's funny. You know how the butterfly came later on to help him out when he got caught by the underground society of trying to be as private as they can.
Yeah.
They always bring it up DARPA, and that's like a real thing.
Yeah.
Like they can actually control butterflies remotely and shit like that.
They say like the birds and aren't real and all that
stuff, which is like indicative. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like this movie had a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
To create all these nuances.
Yeah.
For it to try to depict as accurately as they can the story that they're trying to tell.
Yeah. This is a 30 out of 30 for me. This is amazing. This is like everything I needed, even though I didn't know I needed it.
I want to watch the sub version. We say this a lot that we want to watch the movies over again in the Senate third, but like this is just hits on a whole nother level.
I was gonna buy the books. I was gonna find the movies. I was gonna just like Project Itoh, like rest in peace. Like this dude was beyond his years. I think like he had something going on that's just crazy.
Yeah, I was at a loss of words.
Yeah,
towards the very end, I thought you were gonna hate it.
Yeah.
Only because this is so not your wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's not.
That I was like, oh, this nigga is gonna hate it.
But this inspired me to check out more of his stuff for sure. But also like more sci-fi stuff. Like I said, I'm not the biggest sci-fi person, but I was like, this kind of is what I needed to take that dive.
Because it's sci-fi, but like not Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I guess there's like a difference in sci-fi from like the near kind of sort of future to like long ago, far away, fucking
like interspatial.
Yeah, Star Trek. Yeah. All this other shit. And yo, I didn't do a good job talking about this movie. I can recognize that because it was just there was like there's clearly like a mental overload.
Yeah,
for me,
for sure, me too.
And it doesn't even. I couldn't do it justice talking about it.
Yeah,
I highly suggest everybody right now watching the movie, buying it, whatever the case is. I'm definitely gonna do my part in watching the other two, Harmony and Empire of Corpses.
Yeah,
this movie's just.
Yeah, I think they said Empire of Corpses was directed by the person who directed Tech on Concrete. So I was like, what?
Oh, for real?
I'm gonna check that out.
The white dude? Oh shit.
The white dude?
He's a white dude, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
just the name. I was like, that's
enough. That's enough.
All I need.
That's enough.
That's all I need.
And one of them was made by Studio 4C, so maybe it was that one.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
No, Harmony was made by Studio 4C.
Oh, okay. So that's.
And I was like, yes. That's why I was like, yo, you have to watch these. There's no way around it.
I'm with it. We could do those. Like I said, I'm up for anything.
All right.
I wanted to watch those as well. So we can just do the trilogy real quick. And then
all right, we can do that.
Okay.
And then we go to Gundam and what the fuck you said, because I'm at a loss of words here.
Got it.
Thank you guys for watching the clip. If you liked what you saw, if you like what you heard, please subscribe to listen to our main episodes. We'll link it down below.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.